This is Confessions of a Refashionista.
If you guys are dying to find out just how I managed to score such fantastic vintage gear from the thrift shop, take a peek at this interview I did with Preloved Chica. Grab all of my thrifting vintage tips, plus my fab no-sew dress tailoring refashion at the end of the video.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Preloved Chica show. Now this Saturday is incredible. I have found my dream person to have on the show. I've got with me Sherri Pavlovich, also known as Confessions of a Refashionista. And let me tell you, Sherri has got an amazing blog where there's so much information about so many things. But today, Sherri is going to be talking to us about vintage. Sherri, how are you doing?
Fantastic! Hello!
One of the things that we're going to talk about today is vintage. And I know you know so much about it. I'm just starting on this journey. So tell me what we're going to talk about today, Sherri.
Well, I would like to start out by sharing my top 3 tips for thrifting vintage. So for spotting it at the thrift store, you know, when you're going through the racks and sometimes you pick something out and it looks like, oh, that might be from the 1960s, but then you look at the label and it's from a fast fashion store.
Right.
You know, not cool.
Right.
So should we just dive right in?
Let's just go for it. Let's just
Alrighty.
throw ourselves in. Go.
Okay, so my first tip is about fabrics.
Right.
Now for me, probably because I was born in the 1970s, but for me, vintage kind of is the 1970s and older, right?
Is there something about the vintage? Is if it's 20 years old, it's vintage, or is that not right?
It is, and that makes me very sad.
It makes me feel very old.
It's awful. But what I'm talking about today are things from the 1970s and older and how to spot them.
Okay.
And one of the main things is fabrics, because a lot of the times I've found anything kind of mid 1970s and older has either a very, very thick fabric like polyester, or it's very, very light fabric like lots of silks and almost sheer fabrics.
Right.
In very, very bright colors and bright patterns, you know, almost blinding, or older fabrics tend to be really neutral, like the 1930s, 40s, 50s. That was more of the style back then.
Okay.
So
feeling the fabric. So you'd first of all pick something up and touch it and get an idea of what it feels like.
Absolutely, yeah, and what patterns are on it, but it's really either very, very light or very, very heavy. There didn't really seem to be much of a middle ground in the kind of 1970s and older type of fabrics.
Yes.
So here's a very good example. This dress is actually from 1938.
1938.
And,
wow.
1938, yes, and it's all hand beaded.
Oh my God.
And I did refashion it because it was quite damaged. But on to my next tip here.
Right.
The zippers.
Okay.
Are always a good clue. Metal zippers did not actually get invented until the 1930s. You can actually tell it was all hand stitched together.
Right.
So metal zippers are another really good clue for the age of an item.
Right.
Plastic zippers actually did not become invented until the mid 1970s, early 80s is when they were commonly found in clothing. So anything that has those type of metal zippers is usually 1930s to 1960s, early 70s.
I'm with you. Yeah. Interesting.
So that's a very, very, very good tip.
I tell you what, I'm going to go straight after we've spoken today. I'm going to go out and see if I can find something vintage with a metal zip now.
And even more so, see here's that very airy fabric. I was just going to say luftiges because I'm forgetting my English and German is coming out now. That nice light airy fabric in a very bright print.
And the
And
sleeves as well. That's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? With those sleeves.
it's absolutely, but even more of a giveaway, the label.
Oh, hold it down a little way because I can't see the top of it. Oh, wow. Shopping Erfolg. Woo.
Shopping Erfolg means good, lucky shopping in German.
Oh, that is such a beautiful label. Isn't
Yes,
it?
and tags and labels are your other clue because they actually didn't start appearing in clothes until the 1940s and 50s.
Right.
And then all they really were was like the signature of the designer or maybe the brand name, but there was
Yes.
no sizes, nothing like what we see today. And
Right.
then it wasn't until the 70s that sizes started appearing.
Uh-huh.
And then the mid 70s to 80s, fabric content was then
Right.
added along with the brand name and the size. And from the mid 80s on are pretty much the labels that we see today that are in multiple languages and care instructions. And you know, you have a garment with like 25 different labels stuck in it
Yes.
nowadays.
I know,
Yeah,
they're
so
complicated. So that's a giveaway then. That that's going to be more, up to date. So we've got 3 great tips there.
yeah,
The fabric, the zips, and the labels.
and the labels. And again, very easy to remember. You know, I mean, it's not like if you forget one, you still got 2 more floating around in your head when you're going through those racks. And again, another really, really easy tip, check the seams.
Ah.
Like I said, that dress that in the 1930s that was made, it's 100% handmade. If you can tell the difference between hand stitching and machine stitching.
Wow.
Right? That's very easy. And zigzag machines didn't really become the mainstream again until the mid 1970s when they were available for home use.
Right.
So a lot of clothing that was pre mid 70s is the interior seams are straight stitched or they're hand stitched. And then, like the serge stitch, which finishes the seams in the modern clothing. Again, that was like mid 1980s to the present.
Right. So turn that item inside out is what you're saying?
That's what I do.
So that's the history. Turn it inside out, check the label, check the way it's all been constructed.
Yeah.
Great. Wow. So that is a really good series of tips. So thank you, Sherri. And I know you've got a few other things you want to talk about today, don't you? Let's tell me more.
I do. First, let's talk about what I'm wearing.
Right.
Awesome.
That looks like some designer outfit that you spent a lot of money on.
Oh, doesn't it look like it, darling? No, actually, this is a bathrobe from the 1970s that I got for €1 at the charity shop. Yeah. So all I've done here to make this into a cute little frock, and all I did was pull the robe up over top of the belt to get it to the length I wanted, and now it looks like a cute little twin set that I'm wearing and not a 1970s bathrobe.
Wow. Wow. Is it, what's the material? Is it kind of soft to the touch, or is it not toweling? It's more like a...
No, it's not. It's actually polyester. I mean, I guess it's not so much a bathrobe as what they would call a house coat.
That is such a cute thing you've done there. And that's like, because I know what you're all about. You've got lots of tips for people about how to create things without sewing, because I'm not a sewer.
No, I've only been sewing for less than 4 years.
Wow.
So yeah, my big thing was always, you see something in the store and it's a bit too big for you and you just think, I don't want to take that to a tailor and spend how much money. So here's my next tip. You have a dress that is maybe, it's a bit too big. So what you want to do is simply take a brooch, gather the back and clip it with a brooch. And then you have, a nice fitted waist. And an extra detail on the back of the dress. And this works best with lighter fabrics, obviously. And all it does here, it just gives a nice gather to the back of the dress as well.
Wow, that is a fantastic tip.
Preloved Chica and I have a few funky Refashionista Thrifty Diva collaborations floating around our little brains, but we would love to know what kind of videos would you guys like us to make? More thrifting tips, more no-sew refashions. As she's in England and I'm in Canada, maybe we could somehow figure out a way to go thrifting together in real time. What do you think? For more fantastic thrifting tips and Refashionista tutorials, head on over to my Confessions of a Refashionista at awesomesauceasshattery.com. And of course, subscribe to me everywhere on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, Refashionista Sherri, Confessions of a Refashionista. And until next time, I'll catch ya on the zigzag.